Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today. We have an amazing guest speaker, Roberto Enériz from Airbus Spain. And he will be sharing to us a lot of insights and learnings and reflections and amazing innovations that have been taking place in Airbus Defence and Space. So welcome, Roberto. Very happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Just as a very quick introduction, so we are the Lean Analytics Association, for those that you don't know us for now. And we are doing these Cappuccino Talks to enable practitioners, academics, experts to share their practices, to share their experiences, to provide some light, to provide some inspiration for other organizations, to also help them and inspire them to be innovative, to improve their processes, and to learn together. So this is the whole purpose of the Cappuccino Talks. We have been inviting guest speakers from everywhere in the world. Today we have the pleasure to have again Airbus and Roberto Enériz. And we have a growing ecosystem of organizations with whom we collaborate. We say we have this ecosystem because some of them are partners. They are partnering with us. Some of them sometimes are clients. So we are very, very happy to grow this ecosystem of organizations willing and open to share and learn together. I would like to thank all our previous speakers. I think I have to do a new banner because we have much more speakers that you see here, and very soon you will be part of this, Roberto. So I probably do another banner with smaller pictures to fit all the speakers inside. So we are very happy to have you all here. Please, you can interact with us along the presentation. There's a Q&A box, there's a chat box. We will be listening to you, reading to you. And then at the end, we have a Q&A section and some time for questions with Roberto. So take your coffee. Roberto, you have your coffee? You have water? Great. So just very quickly, LAA is a spin-off from the Polytechnic Federal of Lausanne after a European project. And we focus on helping organizations transform with different good practices that we learn from our research projects. Our mission is to help organizations learn, innovate, and share. And we do this with some training, with hackathons, sometimes research projects. Today, by the way, Roberto, we are very excited because we will be announcing who are the 10 finalists of the Lean Diamond Awards. It's a project that we have been working on for the past, I would say, 6 months already with PricewaterhouseCoopers and Cranfield University. So this is a research project that we are launching, we have launched, and today I will be super happy to share who are the 10 finalists and the dates for the awarding session, which will take place later in the year. So we have a model, and we have this transformation model, which is a framework with which we do the research, and we document and look and assess different best practices going back to operational efficiencies and the innovation process. And we have gathered, believe it or not, more than 100 practices, which we have documented in these little cards that we call Dare to Lean. And design thinking is one of the, I would say, most powerful, let's say like that, most powerful, insightful, helpful, engaging tool. It's a methodology and tool to help organizations. And why do I say organizations? Because it could be companies, but also it could be applied in governments, in NGOs, in every type of organization to solve challenges. So there's a challenge, usually there's no clear vision or solution. So this is the best, one of the best tools to start exploring and so on. And I'm pretty sure you will, if you are new on design thinking or it's the first time that you hear it, you will learn so much from our guest today. So it's basically integrating 5 phases. There are different methodologies from different universities and consulting companies and so on. There's the double diamond model from the UK Design Council, and there are different frameworks. This is, I think, one of the, if not the first, with these 5 steps that go through empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So these are the 5 steps that are proposed. And I will just go very, very briefly to each one of them. So in the empathize phase, you need to get to know who's the user, who's the persona that you are solving the problem for, how's that persona feeling, thinking, which are the key problems, the emotions also. So you go to and that's why it's called the user-centric approach, because you observe this person, you understand which are the pains and which are both the good and the not too good moments. So you are empathizing, you can ask, but it's also very powerful to observe. So that's the first step. And then you start defining and getting rich data, also with some desk research, who's that persona, you start defining the persona, and then you get the problem statement. One key element is this empathy map, which is understanding and framing that persona and document in this. And there are different, if you Google empathy map, you will see different frameworks, different canvas, let's say. But really is to understand what that person is feeling, is thinking, what is hearing, what is the person hearing, what are the goals and the pains and so on. So by the way, this is a real canvas that we did, a real empathy map that we did in a project here in a company in Switzerland. And the project was quite interesting, how to onboard new employees during the COVID time. So imagine you are a new employee, you are just hired and you are in your house and you need to work, but you are working from your house and you are new, right? So this company was saying, how could we develop a new experience or a very good experience to employees that cannot come to the office because right now we are all working from home. So that was a project that is just an example. And then the next step, once you identify which were the challenges, who's the persona, you frame in the empathy map, and you have a clear problem statement, then you start ideating. So you start ideating, and this you go for quantity, not quality. You go for as many ideas as possible. And then towards the end, as you see in the picture, you start voting which are the critical key ideas that the team thinks are the best ideas, to then represent with a prototype that you can go back to the user, ask for feedback, and iterate. So basically, super high level, these are the first steps. And it's very powerful because it helps also to align teams from different functions, even to invite your clients. This is an event we organized in Holland from a particular industry. And these were like 30 companies trying to develop and propose solutions for a particular challenge. So it helps us to align and collaborate, and a lot of creativity comes out of this. And just the last comment from my end before we go to Roberto, it's an iterative process. So it's not a straight line, it's not sequential in the sense that you can do testing and you can identify, you need to understand more from your persona. So you go to the define phase, you need more ideas, you go to the ideation phase and so on. So it's also a highly iterative process. So I'm personally passionate about innovation. And I think from my experience, this is one of the key tools, because also it helps to create a new culture of learning fast and learning also from, we can say, errors or mistakes, but validating quickly with the end user, with the potential, the persona that you are trying to solve the problem for. So that's why also thinking of providing and thinking of user-centric solutions, the whole methodology is extremely, extremely powerful. So here we are, Roberto. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Roberto Enériz. He's actually based in Madrid, in Madrid, Spain, working for Airbus Defence and Space. And he has actually almost 21 years working in Airbus. So many amazing stories I'm sure he has. And he has been working along the many processes in the company, from manufacturing, from HR, in different projects. And right now, he's an Agile coach and an innovation ambassador. And he will explain to us what does that mean, because I think the way Airbus is deploying design thinking is unique. That's why I'm super excited about this presentation. So Roberto, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mirna. It's really a pleasure being here with you. Hope you can see now the presentation.
Yes, I do.
Great, thank you. So I will do a brief introduction about myself, but I know you are not here because of me, except one or two colleagues. But I wanted to tell you is that I got in love not many years ago with the innovation. That time I was working in HR, who opened the doors to me to discover innovation, design thinking.
Roberto? Roberto? Hi, we cannot hear you and we lost
Now,
you. Yes, now we can hear you. I don't know, maybe you could
okay.
restart, please, because
Yes,
we
of
lost you.
course.
Thank you.
I will
Thank you very
share
much.
again. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry for that. Okay, here again. So I was saying that I discovered innovation some years ago in 2016 or 15, I think it was, through a small training that was done while I was in HR. And as soon as I discovered it, I got in love, and I wanted to show to my colleagues, what is this agile or design thinking, lean startup, all these things that were really great to my mind. And I wanted to introduce you to my coach in innovation. And this, she's Isabel. She's my daughter. Now she's 17, but at that time, um, she showed me something very important. I will tell you a small story why she's so important to me in this innovation topic. She was that year she had a subject in this, at her school called emotional education. So they teach them how to deal with emotions, how to know what emotions they were going through, and so on. And the teacher was showing them how to do bottle of tranquility, so they can calm themselves if they were stressed, and so they need to do something like this bottle. And my daughter came to me for several days. Oh, daddy, I need to buy this thing and that thing and oil and purpurine and I say, okay, wait. So you want to do what? Yes, a bottle with oil. No. You need oil and you need water and you need to put that and you need to do this way. And if everything goes in a mess, I will punish you, and you need to keep everything clean and you need to do it this way. So my daughter went upstairs to do the bottle, and then came with something that is the bottle that is on the right, so very ugly. And she said, "Daddy, this is not the bottle I wanted to do. This is just I don't know what you wanted to do." And then it was like if a bucket of cold water was thrown at me, and I realized, oh, Roberto, what have you been doing? You are talking about innovation to your colleagues, but you are just pruning, you are deleting the innovation to with your daughter. So I realized that, and I said, okay, Isabel, let's go. We bought then like 2-3 bottles of oil, a lot of purpurine, a lot of colors, and I told her, yes, you can go to your room, do what you want, play, discover, do prototypes. If everything is dirty in your room, don't worry. If you stay in yourself don't worry, we will clean everything. And then she came with the other bottle. That is the one that she wanted the most. And since then, I every day, I think I do some talk like this. I introduce this because that reminds me what is the basic of innovation. That is to not having failure, to not having fear to the failure, learning from the experience, and that's very important for innovation. So I work in Airbus, and maybe I guess you know a lot of things about Airbus. But just briefly, this is a company with capital of France, Germany, and Spain, and we are a global pioneer in the aerospace industry. But we work in not only in commercial aircrafts, as maybe probably you know, and you probably have flown in many Airbus, but we also have business in the defense industry or in the space, security, and helicopters. And just to give you some figures, we are 130,000 employees. We have 3 divisions, so Airbus Commercial, Defense and Space, and Helicopters. We are working in 100 locations. We have 7 final assembly lines to build the final products. We have 120 direct suppliers, 12 subsidiaries, and 7 joint ventures. You can, along in the presentation, you will see here some BD that you can check as we are having this talk, and you can. Yes, if you have some curiosity to know a little bit more of what is in this slide. In this case, is something about Airbus. So let's talk about innovation. Just to give a little to go also to tell you something about design thinking, something more that I think is important. Why? I'm showing this slide because these are what are called the 3 drivers of the innovation, and this is very important. This is something that is worked during design thinking, because everything starts with the desirability, with the need of something. So when somebody has a certain needs, certain problem that is happening to a human, so that's because this is a human-centered approach, as ITO says, and also we need that the solution not only helps for that need, also need to be viable. So needs to bring some money to the company, so it needs to be viable in terms of money, and of course inside the possibilities of the technology, so it needs to be feasible. So is inside of these circles when the 3 things are happening at the same time. So something that is desirable, viable, and feasible is when the innovation can happen. But we should start here with the human, with the desirability. So I'm going to tell you something that probably sounds common to you, sounds familiar. Imagine you have a problem and you ask somebody for a solution. You talk to a problem about the problem to a friend or a colleague, and usually the solution that used to come to and they used to give us is something that has been proven, something that is tested, something that is somehow common. If you are in a hurry, you better take that solution because you don't have time to think a lot. But if you have time, why not trying something different? And that's where design thinking is proposing to us. So let's go from the concrete, from the problem that is something concrete, let's go through the abstract. Let's have a journey through the abstract so that maybe we can come again to the concrete world with another solution that could be more innovative. And this is another way to draw to talk about the points, the steps of design thinking. First, what design thinking proposes is to, as Mirna said, to empathize. So do some observations, talk to the people, try to see what are their needs. And from that, we will, it's curious because this is something that happens always, that we will get some insights. So some needs that we didn't thought that could be possible, that could exist, but those are the insights, and insights are very, very powerful, are very valuable, like gold. So we look at those insights, and maybe we would need to reframe our problem and go back to those observations. That's what this step is, what Birna refers as empathize and then define. So we can end, we will discover that some of these insights we want to, we will see some areas of opportunity in some of those insights, so that if we make ideation, this will be like small needs that if we solve them, we can end up with very good solutions. So that's why we start these ideation phases, these creativity phases, in our still in our abstract world. So we are still in our abstract, or in this area we want to be creative, we want to have a lot of fun, we need to have a safe environment to do all these things. So we will have a lot of ideas, and that's what we want, to have a lot of ideas, not quantity. We want not quality, we want just quantity, because there is nothing more dangerous than having one idea when it's the only one we have. So we want a lot, because we have more probability of having one good idea. So then we can propose a concept of the solution, a concept that we will need to experiment. We will need to prototype, to learn how to improve something that doesn't work. Maybe we will need to redefine, so evolve that concept into the final solution. So this is another way to look at the design thinking process. And of course, this is not something linear, so it's nothing that you start and you finish. Sometimes you need to go back, take some new ideas, maybe to take some other opportunities. Maybe you need to observe again somebody because you see that something is new, and you miss something. So this is something more like in a iterative work. So what happened in Airbus, and which way we are using the same thinking in Airbus? Well, first there is a corporate innovation part, our corporate innovation that is using a lot design thinking, and it's key. It's key to spread the mindset, and so the people also know the tool and this mindset that is behind the design thinking and behind the innovation. Here you can find some more information about this corporate innovation in our official page, about also about the design thinking project running A-Cube, an area of our corporate innovation that is in Silicon Valley, and there is a specific part here inside our ecosystem. There is the protospace. We have protospaces, and what is this protospace? This protospace is what is a kind of fabrication laboratory. It's an area where people can manufacture things thanks to 3D printing, CAD, laser cutting, and a lot of techniques. So they are like really workshops where they can produce, manufacture things, prototype, and learn in a safe environment when they are allowed to failure, and failure is something good, because if they failure with a chip, something that has been produced in a cheap way without low cost, then the risk is low, and then they can do another one again. So at Airbus, we have our own fab lab we call Protospace, and we have in Spain, in France, and Germany, in India, China, and then people with an idea to improve, for example, some certain part of an aircraft, can go there and propose the idea, and then they can build a prototype, test it, and if it is going well, and they can produce with some other more industrial means. So, for example, let's put an example. This is something that has been done recently. These are the passenger service units we call PSUs, and this is the this place that is in the airplane where you switch on the light, you call your stewardess, the stewardess, and you select the air, and so on. So now these are the old ones. For the A320, they have designed this one that is going to be manufactured by Collins Aerospace. But what could be the next? So few weeks ago, they have been working on what could be the next the PSU of the future. So they have been working in the protospace with design thinking. Well, it's not exactly design thinking. They have been working with a methodology that is based in design thinking, also user experience, UX design, or lean startup, agile. So, and this is something that has been developed by Google Ventures, and this is a way to do this design thinking process in only 1 week, from the Monday to the Friday, ending the Friday with a prototype. So they can do some CAD CAM. They can do at the end some physical products to run, so that they can test. They have been evolving this sprint, design sprint, from the typical 1 week design sprint to something that is lasting more time, because the people is working half time in this project, so that during half of the day they can still work in their daily duties. But the process is more the same. They put people together, experts together, people that take decisions also. They take a facilitator, could be a scrum master, that would help them to go across the process of design, and then at the end with something physical, something touchable. Another example of how design thinking is working in Airbus, in the corporate innovation, is related with the future aircraft. By 2035, we will be developing the first hybrid hydrogen aircrafts. But until that is happening, we can be still more sustainable than currently by using what is called sustainable aircraft fuel, or SAF. So SAF is possible. We can manufacture this new fuel, but the industry is not able to deliver, to supply the quantity that is going to be needed in the near future. So Airbus Scale, this part also of the corporate innovation, is Airbus Scale is in fact a company builder. So they are building companies to pave the way until the hydrogen is possible. So they need to build the developed industry, so that the industry is able to provide this SAF in a quite soon, because we don't want to wait until the hydrogen is in place. So they are doing design thinking to with the people, stakeholders from the industry, to be able to put in place, to create the companies needed to provide this safe quite soon. This is also challenging, and they are doing this currently now. Another example, very interesting. This was for a military customer who wanted to something to launch a drone, what is called UAV in Airbus, an unmanned aerial vehicle. Still, the the frontiers between drone or UAV is not clear. This again industry that is still being forged. So they have this this project. They needed to develop and build. So I mean, design and build the launcher of a drone that could be launched from the belly of in this case, the A400M. So they were working, they were applying design thinking, and they were doing it in an agile way. And they succeed. In 6 months, they were able to design and build the launcher. And design thinking was really satisfactory, was success. In fact, the customer was inside the development team. And that's really a privilege. Having a final customer and user inside the team, it makes things much more easier. One of my colleagues, Mike Purman, was helping as agile coach and also helping with the design thinking process for this project. But apart from this corporate innovation, what happens with the rest? So yes, this is, of course, corporate innovation. They should be using all these methodologies, design thinking in a startup. But what happened with the rest of the company, with the teams that are working out in innovation, in new products, people in customer service, in the IT departments, or finance, procurement? Well, they maybe they are not building or developing new products, but they are facing challenges. They have needs, and as long as they are human-centered problems of humans, they can use design thinking. And there are people like you and myself working maybe in cross-functional teams, maybe self-managed teams or virtual teams, multifunctional teams. Doesn't matter, as long as they need to solve a problem, they find a challenge, and then they want to have something different, more innovative. They can do it, and they are they are like you and myself. So normal people. By the way, these are not real people. These have been manufactured. They have been created by a computer. You can go here and look for it, because it's amazing how a computer now is able to create artificial pictures of people, and they look real. So yes, people not working in innovation can innovate. For example, I will give you an example. Imagine a department of engineers working in what in an aircraft is called the APU, the auxiliary power unit. It's a engine with an electrical generator that is here in the cone at the end of the aircraft. Here you can see it. So that when the main engines are stopped, this APU is producing electrical energy and also air for the climatization, air conditioning system or heating system. So they are the typical engineers working in the stress, calculus, and titanium parts, and all these topics and the problems. But the engineering area received or had a new strategy. So they wanted to develop new services for the airlines. And this is an engineering department. It's not a customer service department. So this was really challenging for them, because they were engineers, and they were not used to think in new services to sell and to earn money. So the Airbus could earn more money, but they were lucky because one of the engineers that was working in that area was part of the community of innovators, of people that in Spain we are creating some community of practice, and she was part of it, and so she offered to the team to run a project, a design thinking project, to be able to propose new services to the company. So I was involved in as a coach for them to try to get new services. And I can tell you that the experience was very, very good. And they have a backlog of solutions, and they are taking from that backlog and prototyping and then put it in service. And they have a backlog for years, I can tell you. And another area that we have been using design thinking is in HR and operations. In an area of operations, and certain moment the KPIs, indicators for training were not good enough. So they wanted to improve the situation so that the people could attend the trainings training needed, because several reasons. So they came to us to try to do this project in a different way, and we set up a team, multidisciplinary team, to work on this training problem. We were 10 people, you can see there, from the learning department, from the production area, the competence manager, HR, and 2 facilitators for the design thinking. And we propose to do it in a short time, because compared with the project of engineering with the auxiliary power unit that we're running through some months, because it was more complex, and also the return on investment could be better in terms of money. We wanted to do this in a shorter time scale. So we did only 3 workshops, and also some time to work on the topic. So in one month, we run all the workshops, where those were full day workshops. And we have the workshops working at the beginning on the starting from the beginning on the observations. We let some time to do the interviews. We had another workshop to work on the ideation, and then the prototyping they could do by their own. We planned some kind of we did some kind of planning from the workshop at the beginning, so we could go through the challenge, share KPIs, do some mapping, and then we let people to do during the couple of weeks the empathy analysis, the interviews, and then join again together to work on the second workshop to put together all the information from the interviews, build empathy maps, reframe challenges, and then during the third workshop, to have this ideation phase, creativity phase, and thinking in the hypothesis. So just to give you some a brief idea of what could look like that, you can see here, these were some of the panels that they were sharing. They were sharing information about the training, about just to know better, to know more details about what was the problem. We were doing a stakeholders mapping and a value web, so that because we realized the situation was not so easy, with many stakeholders interchanging different values among them, and this was very useful to understand the complexity of the project. Always, it's a very good excuse just to dialogue, to conversate, to share experience. That's another added value from all these techniques that were done. And then during the second workshop, so after running the interviews, because in the first workshop also they needed to prepare the interviews, but after having those interviews, they needed to share, and they need to share using one of the tools that Mirna told you, this empathy map. You cannot see, but behind this amount of post-its is the empathy map. So we had 2 empathy maps, thinking in 2 different users. So they were analyzing their findings during the interviews and extracted what could be the insights, and transforming or taking those insights into opportunities and breaking them into smaller pieces. So it's like looking at the same figure from different perspectives, and each of these posted could be the starting point of ideation, and that was done during the third workshop. This creativity session using different techniques. Some of them more visual, some of them just in concept phase. So at the end, they ended up with a concept of the solution. It was a training league, so some kind of gamification for the training, so that the people could, managers and employees could engage with the training. During that workshop, also they were checking what could be the hypothesis, the assumptions that should be true, and so that the concept could be a success. So they listed what could be those assumptions, those hypotheses, and for each hypothesis, they needed to think in a test, how to test that hypothesis, what would be the metrics, what they wanted to measure, and what could be the criteria so that this criteria was okay, the hypothesis would be true. And this was done with every of the hypotheses, so that they didn't need to build a prototype of the full system. They only needed to test the hypothesis one by one, and if all the hypotheses would be okay, then the model could be built. Very important during these projects is to have a really engaged team with a very good attitude. Attitude always matters. Having a good team is key for this, and very important for that the coaches create a very good atmosphere so that they feel safe to say crazy ideas, safe to be themselves, and that's very, very important in a design thinking project. In Airbus, a part of this design thinking, the more the typical design thinking, or as we have shown to you, and the Google sprints, we are using a tool that is different, that is called Think Wrong. Think Wrong is a methodology created by Craig Gale and Mike Byrne from the States. Behind this Think Wrong methodology, there is design thinking. So you look at the steps that they say are behind the part of Think Wrong: be bold, get out, let go, make stuff, be small, and move fast. Behind that, you can find the steps of design thinking. So, but this is a very powerful design thinking tool. In fact, it's a tool based in the cloud with a lot of exercises, so you can build your own design thinking project, and you can use it also for some other workshops, for some other needs, and they base their method in this sense of, okay, we can, if we do the things as we are doing right now, keeping the status quo, we will not improve. So at some certain moment, we can build this bold path and try to be bold, try to be different, doing things different to have different results. Because if we are now, we have a problem with a lot of with everything is there is not uncertainty, everything is known, you can think in the way we have been thinking until now. But when there is a lot of unknown challenges and there you don't know how you are going to do them, it's better to think in another way, the way that they call Think Wrong. This is something that quite interesting, is quite used in Airbus. Airbus is training a volunteer basis to people, so we can get we can be facilitators of Think Wrong and do these workshops using this methodology. So how has been evolving this design thinking thing in Airbus? Well, I can say that at the beginning, there was a lot of bottom up. So a lot of people like myself, a lot of colleagues like me that were discovering design thinking. Yes, some years ago, around 2015, 16, and get trained by ourselves maybe, and wanted to start putting in practice what we know. But there is another path, another stream that is what is coming from the corporate innovation, because they have embedded this design thinking in their daily business. Every redesign, new products, working with the startups, doing hackathons. They have been doing this design thinking, and they have helped a lot in spreading this tool, but more importantly, the mindset that is behind design thinking. And in fact, for every project, innovation project, they coach the team in the fundamentals of design thinking, or also Agile, for example, so that they can work in their ideas. But there is no department in charge of design thinking, so no central team with this mission of spread and teach design thinking. There is nothing like that. What we have is somebody who is taking care somehow. We have in Airbus what we call academies, who are in charge of taking care of the competencies and skills of these areas of knowledge. For example, engineering academy, and for example, engineering academy in Airbus is having a very important role in spreading the innovation, the mindset, and helping the people who wants to develop in innovation. And for example, they have put in practice community that is called innovation ambassadors. They realize that working or trying to help the business in these topics was quite hard. So they created these innovation ambassadors, and any innovation ambassador has a mission, and the boss of the innovation ambassador and the HRBP of the innovation ambassador knows about this mission, so that they can spend up to 20% in innovation, let's say doing workshops, facilitating, or helping other teams in innovation projects. And this has been very important to so that the people can work in a safe environment. Of course, as innovation ambassador, you are not working all the year, 20% of your time in these topics. So, but from time to time, maybe you need one day in a week. So you are doing things like, for example, the things that I'm doing today. And one of the things that difficulty we have is that there is no hands-on training. So no really big training on design thinking where you can learn by doing through a project. So we have been getting experience and learning by ourselves. In fact, currently this is even worse because of the COVID situation, and you can only find small courses, online courses like design thinking for innovation, around 6 hours, and you can see here there is not very much. But the Engineering Academy put in practice a very important program or training that is called coaching design thinking for. So because they had this innovation ambassador network, they knew from us who of us could be interested in design thinking and facilitating design thinking projects. So they bought a training for coaches, and we were trained as coaches for design thinking. And this was really very good point from the academy. I hope they can keep this training, because it's really adding a lot of value. So very important to have communities of practice in place. Also in Airbus, we started in 2016 with a part of this innovation ambassador that academy were taking care of. In Spain, we have put in place the innovation champions network. So people that we knew that could be interested in innovation topics, and we were promoting and doing things like Innovation Day, we call in a forum, or the open mornings also. So in a bi-weekly sessions of 2 or 3 hours on Friday morning, so people could go there and share and learn and practice and improve in their innovation skills, and also discovering what could be innovation and design thinking. So still we are happy because design thinking is not yet hyped or over promote. So finger crossed, we will try to work on this in a very rational way, so that we are really adding value, and people are convinced on the value of design thinking. What worked well? We think that it's very important that the company is promoting creativity and innovation as a value. So that's something that is basic. We know that the role of the corporate innovation is key, by showing the benefits of design thinking, how it's adding value, and the mindset, and using blended methodologies. So we cannot be Taliban of a tool, so we need to be flexible. We can be flexible and adapt design thinking, Google Sprints, or ThinkRun to the challenges, to the restrictions, the constraints, the teams that we are helping. Also, when there is something that is strategic, and the top management is supporting that problem, things used to work pretty well, but it's something that is obvious. The bottom up worked very well. So people in a spontaneous way, in plateaus, or they are working in subsystem, in any project, in a spontaneous way, just starting the design thinking, and if somebody can support this, this is really working very well. Not only in the very technical areas, with things that all areas that have to do with the product, but also with non-product areas like HR, finance, procurement, or facility management. Communities of practice are key, and as I've said, some kind of support, some central support is very much appreciated. And the good thing now is that the design thinking now starting to permeating through the company. So now it's quite normal to see, to hear people talking about customer centric, about empathy maps or personas, or just a story, pains, value proposition, or things like that, or prototyping. And this is now, I think this is very important. What could be improved? A lot of things still. Airbus is a very much process and tool-oriented company. So it's still hard to change the mindset, and because they think maybe in design thinking as another tool to solve problems, and it's more than that. It's a mindset, it's a philosophy also. What we found in our workshops is that sometimes it's still difficult to convince people to leave their old ways of thinking, and the old ways of doing things, and convince them that forgot their pet ideas. Sometimes they come to the workshops with their own ideas, and so that they want to to force the rest of the team to adopt their solutions, the ideas for their solutions. I find also sometimes difficult to be bold. So people just to have usual ideas or more practical ideas, win-win ideas, and it's hard for them to have wild ideas, and it's very important because the wild ideas are really the fuel of the disruptive ideas. Also, this colleague had the experience. He told me the other day, talking about this talk, that sometimes the customer, the users are coming to the projects and to the design thinking sessions, still entrenched in their old systems, or looking at and not able to think in new possibilities. And for that, prototypes and testing with them are very, very important, so they can imagine new ways of doing things. Also, I think it's very common to jump directly into the solution. So we as the coaches, we need to keep a lot of the attention, so that people is not jumping to the solution just from the beginning. Every step they are just having ideas of solution, and we need to keep them, okay, keep calm, write it down for later, but now is not the time. And of course, the same thing is an investment. So if you are putting 10 people, 5 days, 8 days, 8 hours per day, that's a lot of time. That maybe you are spending 200, 300, 500 hours, man hours there, and that's a lot of money. So you cannot finish the project just with one idea. You need at least a bunch of ideas, so you can prototype. You need to have something more like one post-it as an idea, because this is expensive. So you need more ideas. You need to prototype a lot. You need to learn and to have to really add value to the company. And of course, should not be just a workshop. You need to finish with something that is tangible. And maybe something that we need is a little bit more of criticism. We still have a lot of course, we see a lot of cognitive blindness and cognitive dissonance, or biased. We are biased, and this is something that is still in our projects. Sometimes we abuse of the sticky notes. We should be more creative in even in the way we are doing the ideation sessions, and sticky notes are good, but why not trying to do something else? We have even tested in the creativity session doing the improv sessions, theater of improvisation, to try to have new ideas with good success. And yeah, it's very important to keep the people in a safe environment, so that they can play, they can be wrong, they can get dirty, they can learn from failure, instead of trying. We have heard this a lot of times. Okay, we need to be right first time, because failure is not an option. So come on, no. At the end, you need to be right at the end, but during the process, you can be wrong, and it's good if you are wrong. If you are wrong at the beginning, because you're saving a lot of money. So we need to recover this mindset of the mind of a kid. So we are playing, nothing happened. If we fail, we try it again, and so that's we need to be like a kid in this innovation and design thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Roberto. And I love your introduction and your ending. Actually, one company here in Switzerland, once they asked us, I really want them to have fun when they innovate. So besides creating and innovating, I want to see my team having fun and smiling and engaged.
Yes.
So I think, so thank you so much, Roberto.
Thank you.
So just for the audience to know, we had several calls before and we brainstormed what could be interesting to share. So let me see if we have, I think we do have, so we have some questions. Roberto, let me read. Antonio Morales, thank you, Roberto and Mirna. Nice talking to you. Thank you, Antonio, for joining. I'm curious about how do you engage final customers to understand what the needs new solutions could be. Specifically, in the case of redesigning the PSUs inside the airplane, tell us a little about your team, how the team gathers sentiments from the users. Thanks again.
Okay. This is something that I've not been personally involved in this project, but in some other occasions when usually when you offer customer to collaborate, they usually want to be there. So it's not that you need to convince them, is that you are offering your help. So this is the same, for example, in Agile. When you want to build something for a customer, you don't need to say it, I'm going to do a design thinking project. Please come here. I want to interview you. It's more like I want to collaborate with you. I want to know about you and about your needs. So that's the way things used to happen. And I guess in this case with Airbus Scale, they were doing the same. Yeah.
But I think this question, Roberto, it's about, I'm trying to understand how you get the emotions, you know? So, you know, like, for example, myself, I'm very short. So whenever I try to turn on the light on the airplane, I have to use my pen, and you can see I have some pains.
Okay.
So how do you see the emotions of your users, for example, in this type of
in the PSU, they contracted an actor, for example. They were doing these tests with an actor, so they just to avoid also they were not doing that. They were enrolling some actors to do that work, and so that was a practice they were using in that project.
Thank you. Just to complement the question, Roberto, do you ever have people from Airbus observing in the airplane the behaviors or how customers behave inside the airplane? Have you done that experiment or not yet?
Yes, there is a team in Toulouse working on the cabin, so in the insides, and they are doing a lot when they are thinking about this, or they are doing this kind of observations. We call fly on the wall. So they stay there, they look what their people. Yes, they are using these techniques, or also poems, for example. Yeah. In some other occasions, they even hire designers, so professional designers, to help them to do something different, because of course these tools are good because we are introducing the world of the designing, but we cannot deny the help of a good designer, professional designer. They are very, very valuable in these projects also.
Thank you, Roberto. The next question is from Billy Ingram. Nice talking to you, Billy. Good morning in the US. Have you used innovation frameworks to stimulate idea creation, like trees, biomimicry? If so?
Not in my case, but some of them I hear of from some of my colleagues working in corporate innovation, talking about this. So I guess yes, they have been using them.
Okay.
But I don't know the results. Sorry.
You know, going back to this, also it could be interesting as some companies use neuroscience, no? So how the brain reacts to things that you cannot see, but you can measure some stimuli, right? That sometimes you as human don't even know. Right?
Yes. In some of the projects, some innovation for pilots in the fighters, for example, this how to simulate, for example, sometimes to make a better simulator, so that the fighter can be trained in a better simulator. There are projects so that they can simulate even the fear. and how the behavior just in front of a situation that could spark the fear in the fighter. So they're doing things like that. Yes.
Thank you. The next question is quite interesting. Have you considered introducing concepts like social responsibility principles from the UN, the Sustainable Development Goals, to help create social protection and increase social dialogue during design thinking work?
Quite interesting. I love this proposal. No, not in the circle I know, but it's interesting. Thank you, really.
Yes. Okay. So from Simone, really interesting. Congratulations. Do you use Scrum with design thinking?
Yes, and in all of the design sprints done by Protospace, they are using Scrum. So the facilitators are also Scrum masters. Not only know about design sprint, but also about the Scrum, and they are using with a lot of success. Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Actually, you mentioned also Lean Startup, no? And it's probably you merge Lean design thinking with Lean Startup and Agile, right? I have
Yes.
the idea. Okay.
And UX experience, yeah.
And UX, okay. When recruiting, how do you look for design thinking skills / attitude in applicants? That's a good one.
That depends very much in the manager. So that's not something that is standard for the recruiting. So the recruiters are not looking for this. They're looking for innovation, but mainly if the manager is requesting that. So for the position. But this is more and more. This is something that is under in the profile, I would say. Yeah.
And just aligning to this question, which is very interesting, do you think it's easy somehow to develop the mindset, so to explore, to fail? Because sometimes I hear, no, I think that person might not be happy if he fails or she fails in the attempt, because this type of methodology, you have to find colleagues and people that really want to try again and again, and they never give up, no, the validations and the reflections. So do you think it's easy or not that easy to create this mindset of validation and try again and learn?
It's difficult. People usually wants to start a project or a workshop in design thinking. They call, well, let's do a workshop or a project, and they want to start finished, and they want think that is then the results just go to production and put in place. So it is very difficult. Yeah. So I not always succeed on that. I can tell you.
Do you think if some persons or employees in Airbus join more different projects, then they start switching the mindset?
Yes.
You said it's about trying, developing the practice and the skill.
Yeah, right. It's not the same in it's easier in some in innovation projects run by corporate innovation, where the coaches are more focusing on that and are helping the teams on that, and they're more aware of this what are the benefits of failing and failure soon, and doing cheap prototypes and then evolving through the stages. Okay, let's go for something with more fidelity and so on. With some other projects, not so easy. Yeah.
We have a good one now, Roberto. How can we include artificial intelligence in design thinking?
Don't know.
On the learning part, I guess, no? I don't know.
Good question also, yeah.
Yeah. And
if Faris, if you know something about this, please tell us.
Actually, the interesting thing I have observed in my experience is when you are, and you mentioned it at some point of the presentation, when you are designing and ideating and giving all these ideas, many times organizations do not document all these ideas. You know, you have like many ideas at the beginning of the ideation, then you are voting and going the funnel to select the best one for the prototype. But there are a lot of ideas, and you spoke the wild ideas, and some of them might be lost because sometimes they are not codified. You know, they are not documented. So I guess that's extremely good question. Thank you. You will need to document all the ideas and start learning and connecting them to make an artificial intelligence mechanism, you know, algorithm.
Yeah,
no,
that's good. Yeah, by the way, now that you mentioned, I always ask people that to collect all the ideas, at least the best ideas that they have. So the insights, keep the insights and keep the ideas of your ideation, and because that's something that's a backlog you can pull from that. If you are putting in place something and you want to improve again, we should not forget that we are always looking for something disruptive, but we should not avoid the idea of you can introduce a lot of small improvements, and then after some time you look behind and you say all the things you have been implementing, and then you have maybe done a really, it's almost disruptive because the improvement is really huge. So that's really is great to keep that backlog and then pull from that and trying to put in practice those things. Yeah. But this thing of intelligence, artificial intelligence, yes. Could be. I will think about it.
I copy and paste the question I asked in the chat. Okay. Do you have any suggestion about effective number of people in the design thinking team, and about its mix in terms of diversity, gender, years of experience, age, and other? Do you invite people from outside Airbus also?
Yes. We used to say that the perfect team, like in a Scrum team, maximum 10, because keeping the relations in when the team is when the project is long, so more than 10 is not good. So between 5 and 10 for me is good. In we talk about diversity, that's really key. That's really key. In experience, in fields of expertise, we take care of course, gender is not difficult, at least in Airbus. It's very important, this that you mentioned, years of experience. We try to say, oh, very or all people, all mindset, but no, we you know that creativity is about number of connections that are inside of our brain, and the more experiences we have, the more interconnections we can have, and more creative we can be. Also with top managers, so having top manager in a team could be dangerous because people could not feel safe, but top managers have very good ideas. They have a very good vision, and the experience with top managers in the teams usually is good if you prepare the field so that people can feel comfortable and you relax, and this forming the team is also very important, more when you have top managers in the team. And yes, there are people from outside of Airbus working in design thinking projects. Yep.
Just one question in this regards. The one time I visited, you have this area besides the Fat Lab and all these labs. You also created an amazing place for ideation, besides the main manufacturing site, right? So do you use these? Because many people also think that creativity also it's catalyzed if you have these spaces and you have these bubbles, like sort of Google, that you have colors and bubbles and you can lie down on the floor. And so can you tell us a little bit about this space that you have in Airbus for creativity?
Yes, we say that first you need to have the need, and then you need the space. So it's not to have the space and not the need, because then you will have the space empty and nobody will go there. So at the beginning, there is no escape. You will need to to run these sessions in a traditional environment. But once there is a pool and there is the need for these teams, you can have this space that, of course, it helps a lot. We have several spaces. They are not just used for creativity, but for example, Project Space have that area where you can go there and it's more flexible. The furniture, you can move around, a lot of boards, you can paint it in the wall. That of course that helps a lot. But we have some other experience where we put that kind of lab and was not used at all, because we thought people would love it, but people didn't have that need, so they were not using it. So first the need and then the space. That would be my proposal.
Very good, Roberto. There's one question from Humberto all the way from Mexico. What level of people participate to these workshops, like from the HR, for instance, or the one about services? So do you invite also different levels in the organization on purpose, going back to the diversity topic, or who's invited to these workshops?
We think in terms of added value and diversity. So as coach, and when the team proposes you a team, so usually I would tell them, okay, think people that could add value, people who could be creative, but also people who could be good in criticizing ideas, because you need to diverse, but you need at the end to converge. So and we need this criticism. Looking different areas of expertise and so on. So I would say that executive is not very common that executives are coming to this workshop unless there are projects running at that level. So for some, I would say for the strategic ones, I know that they have been running some workshops with at that level, and yes, that in that case is common. For the rest, is not common that executives are coming. No.
So it's more like the middle
yes,
management.
middle management, line managers, middle managers. Yes, but because not because they need to, is because they are adding value, because they want to be there, and also because the relationship is good. So they can be there for sure. But then you need to take care of these differences and work a little bit more as a coach, so that the atmosphere is good mood, they're not talking using that authority. Yes, it's tricky sometimes.
You have to be as a coach, I guess, on trying to balance the powers and the ideas, right? Because if everybody that has a high rank sort of dominates, then lowers down the creativity of the lower, let's say, organizational positions.
Yeah, yeah. For that is sometimes is key to keep the drill, each of the drills of the techniques really in explaining well and not leaving the people, not letting the people to act with a lot of freedom. So you maybe come to my mind some workshop where I needed to be more strict in the rules because of that. Yeah.
Perfect. There's a very good question from Ahmed Soliman, all the way, I guess he's in UK. Nice to talk to you, Ahmed. So how deep do you need to be as a coach on technology? So you showed some technological projects or more product-focused projects, and some were more services, other were more, let's say, HR or process-wise in terms of challenges. So when it's like really deep on technology, how do you manage that as a coach? How much do you need to know as a coach, as an Agile coach?
Good question. I would say that I feel more comfortable when I'm coaching a team project on something that I already know, because I can interpret the things better. I can guide them better, but it's not a must. if I don't know about a topic, I used to spend some hours with some of them just learning something about what is behind, about whatever. Of course, I cannot be never an expert, but at least knowing something, the subject helps. But it's not really a need.
Actually, just to complement on this, Roberto, I don't know your experience. In some sessions, we make sure we have experts on the topic. So if imagine I'm facilitating because, for example, I know the methodology, but I don't know about particular technology, you make sure you have subject matter experts on the technology, you know, or really have very well the desk research, the insights on the technology and on the field research, so that you have also the technological aspect covered, right? Because as a coach, you cannot know everything in terms of technology, you know? Yes. So a lot of people is asking about the presentation, Roberto. Everybody's in love with your contents. I asked you the same, but I would like you that you tell the audience what could be the potential next steps of your presentation.
Yes, I need to wait a little bit to get the green light from my company. I guess yes, but I think we just need to wait. I've not show you any secret. Everything is in the internet, or most of them. So there is no risk, but we need to wait. So I guess yes, but just wait some days.
Thank you, Roberto. There's a very interesting question. How often do the executive level participates in these exercises? So that I guess the C-level, or the high level management of Airbus, do they also join this sort of design thinking workshops?
I have never done such high level workshops, to be honest, but they have been participating in some of them. Yeah.
Good. No, because we had another session with David for Hoshin Kanri.
Hoshin Kanri,
yeah,
yes.
for Hoshin Kanri, you need to start from the CEO level, right? So
yes,
that's why that is like starting from there.
I've been with him in some of the Hoshin Kanri top managers, and not the same with design thinking. At least not myself. I know they have been doing some innovation or discovery or workshops or in some of their meetings, but full design thinking, I've not been involved in that.
Welcome. So Roberto, it has been a pleasure, all these conversations with you, and I'm sure that everybody's now interested to become a design thinker, just like you and me, and we'll be sharing this insight. So take care, everyone. A pleasure to be with you as always. All the best wherever you are. Take care. See you next month. Thank you, Roberto, again.
Thank you very much, Mirna. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.